This is the AMYET V9-G60 Peak 1500W e-bike. Just looking at it, you can tell it's got that BMX meets cafe racer vibe, with chunky 20x4-inch fat tires, a long bench seat, and a frame that looks both sporty and solid. When I first unboxed this bike, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect. I'd seen plenty of similar styles before, but it's one thing to check out a product online, and another to have it sitting right in front of you, ready to ride. So, in this quick review, I want to share my honest thoughts based on what it's actually like to assemble, ride, and live with the V9-G60 as an everyday rider. I'll break down some key features in simple terms for anyone new to e-bikes. The motor stood out to me immediately. AMYET put a brushless 1000-watt motor on here that peaks at 1500 watts. Brushless means it's more efficient and should last longer with less maintenance. It definitely feels powerful. When you twist the throttle, by the way, it's a half-twist throttle, pretty comfy, the bike really gets going. Hitting a top speed of around 28 miles per hour was easy for me, though the product page says 32 miles per hour. It's possible you might reach that on a slight downhill, or maybe if you're a lighter person than I am. Even with the speed and torque this thing puts out, I always felt in control. That's partly because of the fat tires. For anyone who hasn't ridden a fat tire e-bike yet, the extra width means more surface contact with the ground. It grips gravel, sand, and even snow better than a regular skinny tire. If you're wondering what that ride's like, imagine cruising smoothly over bumps, grass, or loose pavement with hardly any of those sudden wobbles or slips. That said, on pavement, the tires make a bit more road noise than a thinner tire would. Some people like that, some don't. For me, the stability is totally worth a bit of hum. Another key feature is the battery. The V9-G60 uses a big removable 48-volt 20-hour battery. Removable just means you can take it out to charge, which is great if you live in an apartment or want to charge indoors. AMYET estimates 30 to 70 miles on a charge. That range is going to change a lot, honestly, depending on how much you use the throttle, pedal assist, and how hilly your ride is. I usually keep mine in pedal assist mode for exercise, and I've been able to ride a day around the city without worrying about range. If you push it hard on throttle only, expect the range to drop, but it's still plenty for most commutes or exploring. The bike comes with a dual suspension setup, which was a pleasant surprise at this price. That means you get shock absorption at both the front and rear wheels. For those new to e-bikes, it basically smooths out potholes and cracks, so bumps don't beat you up the same way they would on a regular bike. I took the V9-G60 through some rough parks and across cobblestone, and my back survived just fine. Plus, the seat is a long bench style. In my opinion, it's a bit on the firm side, especially on longer rides, but I didn't find it uncomfortable for short trips, say 20 to 30 minutes at a time. If you commute farther, you might eventually want to add a seat cover or pad. For stopping power, it's rocking mechanical disc brakes, which worked reliably in my testing, even coming down from higher speeds. I will say, hydraulic brakes would be a nice upgrade. They usually have smoother, more gradual stopping, but for everyday use and the price point, the mechanicals here felt safe and predictable. Even in a quick stop, the bike stayed stable, with no nasty surprises or skidding. Let's talk about the controls and features because AMYET did well here for new riders. The LCD display is huge and easy to read, with a simple battery indicator, a speedometer, and your total mileage right up front. No complicated settings. There are 3 pedal assist levels, which just means you can choose how much help the motor gives with your pedaling. Level 1 is a gentle boost. Level 3 feels like the bike's doing most of the work. You control everything from the handlebar, including headlights, turn signals, and a horn. If you're not familiar with e-bikes, it's basically like controlling a small electric moped, but you can still pedal manually whenever you want. There's a 7-speed Shimano gear system too. Pretty easy to shift and makes a big difference if you're tackling hills or just want to cruise at a steady pace. One thing that threw me was that there are 2 keys included, one for the bike's ignition and one for the battery. You need both if you plan to remove the battery after your ride, so don't lose them. The wiring on the bike is neatly managed. Nothing dangles or sticks out to snag as you ride, which I definitely appreciate after dealing with messier bikes. Weight is probably the trickiest part about this ride. The V9-G60 weighs about 84 pounds, so carrying it upstairs or loading it into a car isn't easy. I personally just roll it into my garage or lock it at street level. If you think you'll need to lift it often, you should consider whether that works for you. Charging takes about 7 to 8 hours if the battery's totally empty. That's overnight for me. I usually just plug it in when I get home and it's always ready to go next time. There's even a USB port on the battery for charging your phone if you're stuck somewhere, which I think is a cool backup feature. From my experience, the overall build quality feels solid. I looked over the welds and frame paint, and everything was neat without any obvious flaws. The bike frame is made from steel alloy, so it has that extra heft compared to some lighter aluminum e-bikes. There were no rattles or weird noises during rides, and the mag-style wheels look tough and are super easy to clean compared to spoked wheels. Assembly was straightforward. Because it's 90% pre-assembled, I only had to attach the front wheel, fender, and a few other bits. I think anyone who's put together basic furniture or a regular bike will be fine with this setup. To sum things up, the AMYET V9-G60 is a strong contender if you want a fast, comfortable fat tire e-bike for city rides, parks, light trails, or dirt. I'd recommend this for riders who want enough power for hills or carrying groceries without fuss. If you want all the latest high-tech features or a lightweight design, this isn't it. For pure riding fun, especially if you're just getting into e-bikes or want something approachable but tough, I think it's perfect. In my opinion, what stands out most is the combination of a powerful motor, smooth dual suspension, and big battery. The little details, like turn signals and a reliable display, make it extra beginner-friendly. The only things that might give you pause are the weight and the slightly firm seat. Everything else, from the smooth acceleration to the sturdy feel on rough ground, really lived up to my expectations. In conclusion, the AMYET V9-G60 delivers way more than what I expected at its price. I enjoyed riding it and can see this becoming my go-to for weekend adventures or practical daily commutes. If you found this quick review helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more honest e-bike reviews and leave a comment if you have any questions or want to share your experiences. Thank you for watching.